pull that phone out and go to MasterclassCFL.com. Hopefully I didn't screw this up. If it takes you back to today's link, just laugh at me. MasterclassCFL.com. May is our next session, and we will not be here because this entire room is getting gutted and renovated. So all of these couches won't be here. None of these carpets will be here. There'll be like verandas and all sorts of cool stuff next time you come back. Can y'all give it up for Enzian? Is that pretty cool? So we will be at the Oviedo Amphitheater and Multicultural. Sorry. The stage. There we go. The May session, May 15th, Oviedo Amphitheater and Multicultural Center. But here's what's cool about it. We've got a special guest speaker. Has anybody here ever read the book 7 Levels of Communication? If you have, raise your hand or make some noise. If you haven't, you are missing out. It is by far the best book probably ever written on referrals. The guy's been dubbed America's most referred realtor, and he is coming all the way from Atlanta to speak at not just referral mastery, but also event mastery. He has a lot of new content that's not in the book. He will be teaching, and will be at Oviedo Multicultural Center in Oviedo at the park. And he's actually doing a special session. It's going 9:30 to 12:30. So we get 3 hours of America's most referred realtor. That's MasterclassCFL.com. And if that link doesn't work, I'll fix it while they're all speaking. It'll work by the end of the session. So we put this on third Thursday of every month. It's put on by Orlando Real Producers and our advertising partners. They're all referred by top 500 agents. Could we just give a quick round of applause for all the preferred partners of Real Producers in the room? If you meet anyone in this room that doesn't sell real estate, they are the best of the best. And there's a handful of them who stepped up extra to make today happen. I'm going to let each of them speak. They only have a minute, so it's not enough to tell you everything they do. But if you guys learned something out of today, can you do me a favor and just reach out to somebody on this stage and connect with them about what they do, shout them out, figure out what they do, figure out who you might want to work with? Can y'all give it up for the sponsors that are about to speak? All
okay. Right. I have power.
You got it.
Watch out. I got a loud mouth anyway. Hey guys, Heather Hurry, Pillar to Post, the Jeff Mackey team, home and commercial inspections. How many in this place have heard of us? Please raise your hand. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. I love that. And I just want to say a personal thank you. You know why? Because you guys are you're the ones that make our world go around. So thank you so much for everything you do. Real quickly, 4 new areas of technology that we're bringing to the table. It's called the Ultimate Home Inspection. So we are doing a P2P 360, a P2P measured wall and floor plan, P2P estimates, which is basically the cost for the deficiencies within your inspection, and also P2P home buyer manual. So just some cool technologies. That's just my teaser. If you want to know more, you're going to have to come find me. But anyway, you guys have a great day. Have a great masterclass. Really good to see you, Mr. George, TJ, and others. And yeah, just look forward to learning from the panel today. Off to you.
Thank you, Heather. How many of you guys are surviving spring break right now? Because I see you here and you're alive and you're well, but listen, it's been quite a run in spring break, but a couple more days it'll be over. My name is Monica. I'm with Assured Partners Insurance, the fun and exciting thing you guys love to hear because insurance is great here in Florida. So I try to make it a little fun. I know it's not that at all, but I'm here to get you guys to the closing table. One important piece, so I'm a broker. I represent multiple companies, some companies that are represented here in Florida that many other brokers don't have access to. We do. I'm here to get you to the closing table. Important, 4-point inspections, guys. They're the golden ticket to insurance. Call Heather, call whoever. We need 4-point inspections. Send them over. I'll take a look at them. We'll get you to the closing table, or we'll let you know what we need to do to get you to the closing table. So we don't want to make insurance cause gray hairs because we know it's pretty crazy out there. So thank you, Monica, with Assured Partners.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Austin Martin. I'm here with Harding Bell International. I'm sure you all know Steve. I'm just the younger, prettier version of Steve. So I've been with HBI now for about a year. I'm in our business development department, so I handle a lot of our incoming new clients. So a lot of you refer new clients to us. They're usually speaking with me, so I just want to say thank you for that as well. But we are, in case you don't know, we are a full-service tax and accounting CPA firm. What I mean by that is we do everything, either domestic, international, for FERPTA, which I'm sure you all run into, and also business services for entity formations and I-10s, EINs. So if you have any clients that you need to send over our way, we'd be happy to take care of them. Most likely, as I said, they'll be speaking to me, so I'd be happy to help them. But thank you all for having us.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. For those who don't know me, my name is Curtis. I'm with Next Gen Inspections. We service all of Central Florida, Tampa, and the Space Coast areas here in Florida. Thanks to our AI technology, we're one of the few companies that can offer you guys same-day repair estimates for free. Okay, it's a huge negotiation tool that you guys should take advantage of. It's simply not enough, to give you guys just an inspection report. It's important that they have those estimates, know how much these things cost as well. I think we can all agree that real estate is a relationship business. So we've done just that, building great relationships with some of the best contractors here in the area, from roofing contractors, plumbers, electricians, that now, if you've ever gotten an inspection from us, past, present, or future, they are allowing you guys to get huge discounts on any repairs or renovations needed. Once again, saving you guys time and money, okay? Follow us on social media, Next Gen Inspections FL, where we're teaching you guys every single day something new about how homes are built. And once again, my name is Curtis with Next Gen, and appreciate it.
Hey y'all, I am Shay Walker with Shay Walker Photo. I am a branding photographer. You guys are in the business of marketing yourselves, connecting with your audience and your clients and your prospects. And for that, it's very imperative that you have great quality brand photos for yourself. My branding photo shoot called The Vibe Session can help you with that. It is a personalized brand photo shoot fit to your vibe, your brand, and your goals. It's a shit ton of fun too. That's why everyone goes, woohoo. So yeah, you can see my work on Instagram. It's at Shay Walker Photo, S-H-A-Y Walker Photo. There's a link in the bio that can get you on a consult call with me so we can chat, learn a little bit about the Vibe Session and my process. And I just opened up my branding photo shoot, or my photo studio, The Vibe Creative. It is on Instagram as well. It's The Vibe Creative _. Hope to vibe with some of you guys soon, and happy masterminding.
Hi, my name is Vic DeVore. I do a different type of photography. I own DeVore Design. We do photos, videos, and home staging also. And I just real quick want to tell you guys something about Zillow versus Matterport. Anybody in here that does listings, I'm sure you're familiar with the Matterport technology and the Zillow 3D technology. We just did a study to figure out what is more effective, Zillow 3D Home versus Matterport. Zillow 3D Home gets about 6 times the traffic that Matterport tours get, and that's because Zillow enhances the placement of listings within Zillow.com. So if you have a listing, if I was a real estate agent, every time I had a new listing, I would do Zillow 3D Home. Not only do you get a 3D floor plan with it, with measurements and everything, but it's a fraction of the cost of Matterport. Matterport charges platform fees, and Zillow doesn't. So we charge a lot less for Zillow 3D. It's a $75 add-on, but you get 55% more views, 45% more saves within the Zillow platform just for having Zillow 3D Home. So I share that insight with you guys. I know we're getting into listing season. So consider Zillow 3D, and I hope you use DeVore Design for all your listing media as we approach the busy listing season. And we've got to do our group selfie. What's that, George?
All right.
Here we are. We got to do our selfie picture. Let's hear it for Aaron, man. Thanks for having us out here. Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Vic, who brought the coffee today. By the way, one quick shout out before Samantha brings us home. Let's give a 1, 2, 3 clap to the team at Title Genius on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Rick Nair and his team, and Becca Jenkins just joined the team, and she is running the ship. We also want to give a shout out to Waterstone Mortgage. Dustin Owen's going to help moderate, so he's not going to talk about Waterstone, but make sure you follow them. Also, David Buckles with Reliant Home Offer. He is being a dad, having a baby, and managing 12 flips every month. So he is your favorite home buyer. Let's give him a giant 1, 2, 3 clap. 1, 2, 3. And, oh wait, never mind. Steve is not here, but he already went. So let's bring us home, Samantha. Let's do this.
Hey guys, my name is Samantha Melendez. I am the Business Development Manager for the home team powered by Movement Mortgage. I only have 60 seconds, so today's topic is going to be condos. We can fund our own condo deals, or if you guys have somebody interested in a particular property, but you're not sure if it's going to accept financing or not, we have an entire department that can do their research and they can see if this is something that we can close or not. If you guys don't already follow us, make sure you follow us, Samantha_home loans, for all of your fun reels and creative ideas for you guys to be posting on your social media platforms. Thank you so much, Aaron.
All right. Thank you. Y'all ready to learn something today? If you are, let's hear it. I want to bring up our first panelist, Barbara Vance. She has been licensed since 1984. She's a residential and development specialist. She's a keynote speaker. She likes to speak on distinguished or be extinguished. Formed Vance Realty Group back in 1996, sold it 10 years later with 2 offices and over 50 full-time realtors. She sold that to Prudential and made a really nice exit. She's not talking about that, but I'll tell you, it's pretty impressive and she's awesome. So she's a local legend. She sold, in, like I said, in 06 to Prudential, which is now Berkshire Hathaway. In 2011, she joined RE/MAX, and in 2018, she joined EXP. In 2019, she founded Briggs, Vance & Associates Realty with her lifetime and long-term business partner and friend, Dawn Briggs. She's a specialist. I'm not even going to go into all these things, but personally, she's a mother of 3 sons. She's a grandma to 2 grandsons, and she is a real estate rock star. Let's give it up for Barbara Vance. All right. Next, George Philbeck started his real estate career in 2002. Prior to real estate, he was deeply involved in the restaurant business. He was a chef and he was a general manager. He joined Keller Williams, and his business was focused almost exclusively on for sale by owners. And over the next 5 years, his business continued to build. At the downturn, the market caused the REO business to explode, and George was a part of it. In fact, Dustin helped George get in on it, so I think that's a pretty cool combo. So in the height of his career, George sold, get this, it's a shame he couldn't have done 3 more houses that year, because George sold 997 homes in a single year. Is that pretty awesome? If it is, say that's hot. He's built his business in 3 different markets. He's had a staff of 25. Currently, him and his wife, Jackie, focus almost exclusively on their database, and he spends as much time in like the Bahamas and sailboats and stuff like that as he can. He sells at least 30 or 40 homes a year. And long story short, he was a total rock star, was the top Keller Williams agent in the country back in the downturn. Let's give it up for George Philbeck. Sorry I didn't read that bio very well, but I think you guys get the point. Oh, actually, I gotta at least say this. He was the largest team per unit in KW in 2009, 2010, and 2011. That's pretty awesome. So, TJ Cosgrove. Runs Reunion Realty, which is now part of Real. He's one of the brokers at Real for the state of Florida. He opened Reunion Realty in the middle of the crash, 2009, and his team now has sold over $750 million, almost exclusively in one niche market. In 2021, they closed $152 million. In 2022, they sold over $300 million. And basically, they had the highest home sold in the Osceola County history for $11.7 million. His real estate brokerage specializes in selling the Disney corridor with offices in Reunion Resort. They've got a highly effective team of real estate experts. They market 7 to 10 of their guys are in the top 3% of all agents. And here to bring you a wealth of knowledge, let's give it up for TJ Cosgrove. And your moderator for today is none other than Dustin Owen. Dustin joined the mortgage industry in 2004 as a rookie LO. He currently operates a $1 billion retail production operation that he founded with his 2 partners in 2008. He's the creator and host of the Loan Officer Podcast, the #1 podcast for mortgage originators and their clients. Owen's a yeah, you're right. Now I understand. He was like, nobody's going to know what a CMB is. That's probably true. He's a certified mortgage banker, in case you guys are wondering. 2022 graduate of the MBA Future Leaders Program in his free time. He runs triathlons. He's a UCF alumni and a diehard UCF football fan. Let's give it up for Dustin Owen. Yeah, we ready to kick this off? Go for it. Hit that left button until it turns green. Got it?
Good morning. Oh, yeah, there we go. And after last night, I'm a diehard UCF basketball fan after they whooped up on the Florida Gators. Yes, how nice is that? So, Aaron, thank you very much, and everyone in attendance, thank you very much for allowing someone other than Aaron to moderate. I am absolutely ecstatic to have met Barbara and TJ today. I've known George for the past 20 years, both good George, bad George, crazy George, fun George, conservative George. He is my friend, and I'm very happy to share the stage with you. So I want y'all to say this with me. If it is new, it is not true. If it is true, it is not new. And I want you saying that because everything you're going to learn today is probably nothing new, but it's true. It's the reason why these three legends or legends in the making are sharing the stage. And then one other thing I want you to understand as you listen to these panelists is that business follows patterns. So they're going to share their stories of success and of triumph. They're also going to share with us where they're going or where they think the future of real estate is going, and understand there's going to be patterns in there. And you all should be taking notes based on those patterns. You should also be taking notes based on everything that is tried and true, because if it worked for them 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I promise you it's going to work for you 5 or 10 years later. Sure, technology will make its way into our business, but it'll only enhance the things that are true. Everyone good with that? Very cool. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Here's kind of the story arc of today. We're going to talk about where you were, where you are, and where we all are going. You cool with that? All right. So let me just kick it off, and I don't know if we want to start at the end with Barbara. Ladies go first, and slide down to TJ. But can you kind of paint a picture of if you go back, let me see here, 13 years ago, or even 18 years ago, right? That was probably the last time we were in a market that was shifting drastically. Can you walk us through what was that like for you, and then how did you persevere in said market? So think like 05 to 07 type time frame, right before we got into 08.
Hi, good morning. Back in 05, we were rocking it at Vance Realty Group. We had actually at that time 3 offices. We had one downtown, one in Osceola County near Point Siena, and our large office over in Metro West. And we were doing really, really well, and everything was great, and everybody was talking about a bubble. Some of you weren't born yet, but there was a bubble, and we all scoffed at it, right? We just said, "Oh, come on, things are good." And Orlando is. I always joke around. Orlando's always been a little bit of a stepchild. We kind of lag behind the market of other major markets.
Hey, Barbara, can you talk way into that mic?
I'll talk way into this mic.
Because also there's people on virtual that can't hear you even when the room can hear you.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
So I'll go back. So what I was saying was that in 05, we were told there was a bubble, and a lot of us didn't take note of it. And I was explaining how Orlando market, the Central Florida market, tends to lag behind other major markets, specifically Miami. All you have to do is see what's happening in Miami, and you'll know what's going to happen to us in about 6 months. It might be a little faster now, but that's what it was back then. So all of a sudden, I'm getting calls from my friends. I was a member of a network group. They go, "Barb, it's getting bad here in Miami." I went, "Okay." So we started writing letters to everybody that we knew, our entire database, saying, if you're thinking of selling in the next 2 years, you might think about doing it now, before the market really did slide. So we had a very, very strong 07 and early 08 because we set up for that. But I'm just saying that was something that we kind of looked at other markets. Don't think that you're in just an isolated area of Orlando. You need to talk to realtors throughout the country and find out what's going on. That answers your question?
All right, so yeah, there we go. 2004 and 5, I was doing what I was told to do by my coach. He said, call for sale by owners. And I had a friend of mine, I'm not going to mention Jenny Weimer's name, who was phenomenal at farming. And I borrowed a little bit of that too. So basically, a lot of R&D, rip off and duplicate. And business was going great, but I had a coach, a gentleman named Kirk Lee. You remember Kirk? Kirk said, hey, this guy's going to fall. And we started shifting. Most of my business was prospecting based, and I said, let's go into marketing, because we knew that we were going to transition, as we're about to do here, and we had a unique call to action that tended to work. We try and get as much ahead of the market as you possibly can, and what Barbara was saying about, you know, what's going on in Miami and what's going on across the country. We're going to talk about what we think the market's going to go, and there's a lot of things that are influencing this market. It's going to get challenging, but this is where the opportunities are. I literally, most of the people that you're going to see on stage at the masterclasses have gone through that turn and gone through successfully because they worked harder. And we'll talk about that too. But that's where I was in 2003, 4, 5, 6, and 7, preparing for what I knew was coming. We should all be doing that pretty much right now.
TJ?
Just by a show of hands, how many have been in real estate less than a year? How about 2 years? How about 5 years? Less than 5 years. So a lot of folks through here. In 2003 and 4, I was buying real estate, but I didn't have my real estate license. I ran into a good friend of mine. He was 24 years old, making $1 million a year in real estate. So I was chasing a golf ball, playing golf professionally, trying, and decided I wanted to make $1 million a year or more. So that got me into real estate real quick. And by the fourth quarter of 2005, people were talking about that bubble. I had no idea what that meant. Maybe a lot like what some folks in here are feeling too, like, what is this shift? What is this change? What are these patterns that maybe some folks that have been around for a while have seen? And we're seeing, you know, these seasonal changes in real estate. You know, it always changes. There's always seasons in real estate. So back in that time, when the real estate market started crashing, I certainly couldn't see it. I couldn't understand it. Consumer confidence was falling, and it was a very challenging 3 years. I don't think we're anywhere near what that great recession was back in the day, but I can tell you that there's changes and shifts and patterns that we all see, and it's a great time to listen to others. To Barbara's point about synergy and talking to others, you know, talking with and surrounding yourself with people with experience is very important, I think, this time.
No, those are all three fantastic answers, especially to paint the picture of where we were. We're going to jump into where we are. But TJ, I appreciate you pointing out something that I took from Barbara already, which is Barbara, even back then, was out networking everybody. She was able to have great years in years like 7, 8, and 9 because she had a fantastic network, not just of past clients and referral sources, but of other professionals throughout multiple markets where they could collaborate. Like, that is a great takeaway or tie down for today, is how big and how broad is your network. And then George, you mentioned something that I had a big aha moment. He had a coach. Even in a year like 2004, George had a coach. There's something to be said about top producers who invest in themselves. So that's where we were. Let's talk about where we are. And I'm gonna actually start TJ and then work it back down to Barbara. And how do you view 2023? And then what are you projecting as we get towards the end of 2024?
Yeah, I mean, right now where we sit in 2023, this shift has already happened, right? I mean, when someone says the word shift, it's already happened. So last year when, you know, a year ago, look at the difference between a year ago and now, right? A year ago, everyone's selling real estate prolifically. Now, looking at realtors' numbers, everyone's down, or a majority of folks are down 50 to 70% in their sales. And I think that, you know, there's going to be some definite changes coming. And it's a lot of hypermarket stuff too. If you look at, real estate in Windermere versus real estate in the Disney corridor, it's still hard to find inventory in Windermere and Dr. Phillips and Lake Nona and, some of these really established communities. But, and where we sit in the Disney corridor, you've got inventory coming out because people need to sell because they're not making the rental numbers, et cetera, or there's time for change. They have a want item, not a need item. So I think that it's a lot of hypermarket based, but I think that that's where the kind of the changes are.
Any particular key indicators that you follow, whether they're local being produced out of Aura or they're national coming out of NAR?
I mean, number of sales. I mean, sales and average sales price. I think that the average sales price is up. That the number of sales is obviously down, but we don't just take 1 year, right? We don't just mark, our patterns off of 1 year. So when you start looking back at 2019, 2018, I do a lot of this to try to remember, because when I got into real estate, I got my real estate license, thought I was going to make $1 million, and I went to zero, right? So, and then right after that, you know what I said with my wife and I? I said, let's start our own brokerage. She's like, what are you, crazy? We just went through the worst real estate crash in our lives. But I was like, yeah, it sounds good. Meanwhile, she was in the same office. We had a 9x10 office, so if I backed my chair up, I hit hers. Meanwhile, she's on there looking for jobs. And so I'm getting phone calls like, can you refer your wife?
You mentioned consumer confidence, which is an economic indicator. Are there any other economic indicators, TJ, that you particularly follow or you would recommend that the audience follows?
That consumer confidence is something that is, you can't measure it, right? I don't think it's measurable. I think it's already happened by the time you see it. When I was I was actually selling real estate in a very high affluent community down in Naples, Florida. And, our average sale price was right around, $3-4 million. And they're obviously older in Naples. So it's 70 plus or 65 plus, very affluent. And when we were bringing them and you're talking to them with great opportunities, they just said they didn't feel good. And I didn't understand what that meant. But what it meant was, I'm going to take a pause here. I've had a lot of seasons, and the marketplace isn't showing me that I want to make a move. So consumer confidence, I think, is very driven by the news and clickbait, right? We don't read news anymore. You read headlines, right? Everyone reads headlines and then decide if you're going to open that up to read it. So it's usually like a couple words that we're getting bombarded with. So you got to think from a customer standpoint, what are they listening to in order to understand how they might feel and then how they might act.
No, thank you. George, right down the line, you're next up. Looking at this year, projecting out through the end of this year into 2024, how do you view the market? Where are there opportunities? And what do we all need to be doing to not just survive but thrive?
We'll see if we remember all that. All right, so where's the market going is what everybody always wants to know. It's one of the things that I looked at last trend, we all did. We want to get in front of it. I make my own numbers with the data that I pull from the MLS, and we're at an affordability rate before anything else of just PITI, which is a DTI rate, of over 42% in Central Florida. Now that's crazy expensive. And our interest rates are really high, so I'm thinking to myself, if I have to sell, I will sell, but if I don't have to sell, I'm moving up, I probably won't. We're all seeing the market go down a little bit. Again, this is the best opportunity, but it's going to take a lot more work. So what are we doing right now? We're working 3 times as hard, and we haven't seen the results of that yet, but I'm never going to quit. I'm going to burn the boats. I'm going to do the hard work. I'm back to prospecting again, which I freaking hate, but I'm going to do the hard work, and that's the only way to get through this. I think that we're going to be in for the next year where everybody should tighten their belt. We'll cover that as well. But think about this. We're coming into an election cycle, again, which is next year, and this is regardless of political affiliation. The wise thing to do is to not have a recession that year of election. Makes perfect sense to me. I wouldn't do that. I'd advise anybody not to. So we're pulling off the Band-Aid right now with our economy, and that's going to hurt all of us a little bit. So be prepared for it. But also remember that this is when you will become huge. This is the biggest opportunity. But it's going to take a lot more work. So I think I answered a lot of it. I just had to, oh, here's a fun fact. The average income in the Central Florida area is $52,000. The average income in California is about $110,000. The average home price in California is $1 million. The average home price here is $500,000. These are round numbers that I'm using, but think about this. We are literally in Central Florida because of the meteoric rise in properties. We are at the same value based on income as a California market. We're no longer the place you can steal great homes. We're a great community. That's a change in the message, because it's not the best deal anymore, it's the best area. That's a fun fact. I thought you all want to know that, but imagine we are California. We're there.
We kind of lost affordability.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely, yeah. And the mortgage rates had a lot to do with that. I mean, my God, to get to, well, you answer this one, Dustin. If somebody's at 42% just in their mortgage, are they going to get a loan?
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Or fortunately, depending on which direction you're coming
no,
from.
Now throw a car in there and throw a student loan that's going to
Correct.
6 years. Are they getting a loan? Now
Yeah,
they're over 50.
yeah, ideally, you want your mortgage payment to be 25% of your gross monthly income. Ideally, you want your total debts, that's credit cards, student loans, boat payment, housing payment, to be under 45% of your gross monthly income, right? Like that is the ideal. And right now, as George said, that is very difficult. Now,
42.
as we go into a recession, which we're in a way cheering on, by the way, we are cheering on a recession, mild recession. We'll see rates, they've already come down from 7 to 6.5. Now, a lot of that's due to a couple bank collapses last week. But as they go from 6.5 to 5.5 to 5.25, that affordability aspect will dissipate, which will help, because we do have can I say this? This is a metric term, so they use this in Europe. We have a shit ton of first-time home buyers who really want to buy houses if we can make them affordable. Unfortunately, I don't see us making them affordable as a sales price. They're going to have to be affordable from a financing standpoint.
And that's actually because supply and demand is going to bring our sales price back up again, because we've seen a little bit of a drop off, which is expected. We're down about, 8-9%, somewhere in there. Probably going to go a little bit lower and kind of waffle around a bit. And then once the rates come back down, which they will, you're going to see the prices go back up. They have to, because now affordability is back in play. And this is a conversation to have. Remember, you guys are the experts for everybody we know. We're all the experts. So gather this information however you do it, and then please share it, because your clients want to know. They need to have information in front of them too that's real and not just a headline. She's the only one that really reads the news.
Hey, before we slide over to Barbara, Aaron, I know you wanted to interject.
I was actually going to ask, TJ, can you tell us what makes your market different in what you're seeing? How is it different? What should people expect to see different on the tourism Disney corridor side of town versus what should they see on a macro?
Yeah, it just from again show of hands, who sells in the Disney corridor short-term rental areas, right? Yeah, it looks like about 20% maybe in here. The glaring differences, and we call it the $5 billion corridor. So it's kind of one of the best kept secrets in Orlando. In the Disney corridor, it's a very small area. It's about a 4 square mile. And to sell $5 billion in real estate last year is pretty astounding. But people come from all over the world to either secure a purchase for a vacation or possible rental income or straight investment, or also just parking money, right? We have a lot of South Americans and Europeans that come over to put money in the United States because they feel like it's very safe. It's a big opportunity to be in the path of that. We've had agents gain a lot of success because they become experts in the marketplace and offering advisory roles to their clientele with great information. So the difference in the Disney core, though, is that they don't need it. So they're not emotionally attached to it, where they're walking in saying, that kitchen configuration, that doesn't work for us, right? So they have the ability to not be so emotionally attached to it when they sell it as well. But the numbers seem to need to work more often than they don't.
Let's go to Barbara. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, and actually, I want to make sure I heard this right. I sometimes like to think of myself as an audience member first, panelist second. If I heard this correctly, and correct me if I didn't, the second home market could be softer than someone looking to buy their first home, their move-up home, or any other primary home?
We went from, let me just give you a matrix. We went from 16 homes to 75 homes in 1 year, active on the market.
I think the proof is in the pudding right there. Numbers do not lie. All righty, Ms. Barber, coming your way, what are you looking at for the next 18 months? What excites you about the next 18 months, and what are you doing or what are you coaching your agents to do to make sure that they not only survive but also thrive?
Hit the left button until it turns green.
I'm good. Can y'all hear me? So we're in this winter, like the title of this seminar is. We're in the winter. Winter's here. And so you're not late. It's time now. No. You have to start now. Just figure out what kind of real estate you want to sell. And there's many different types. You've got the short term, and he's there, and he's ensconced in it. You can go after the foreclosure market. There are companies, I know you're saying no. I said no. I said, what's that? Go ahead.
It's not coming back. It's not going to happen again. They're selling tape. They won't find another way to distribute it. It costs too much. So you can get into a little bit of it, but please don't invest a lot of time and energy. I'm an expert on this one. It's not coming back the way it was.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
It's not. No. I mean, look, we went through a foreclosure market in 92. It was nothing like 08. And in those days, every bank did their own foreclosures. And I represented First Union, which is no longer here. But we had most of the First Union foreclosures with my team. And I've done that. And you can go after that. You're not going to get it from the local banks, though. You have to go through these big conglomerate kind of things, and you're not going to get paid a lot of money, but you're going to be fed a lot of business. In 08, I keep going back to that because that was I made a conscious decision not to go for foreclosures. I didn't want to do what George did. I already had a long time business with a lot of clients, and if you got into the mortgage business, it changes how you do business, and I didn't want to change. And I knew I was walking away from a lot of money, but because I was offered, a good gig, but I didn't want to become that kind of realtor. You know what? Money is a super big goal, but it's not everything. You have to enjoy doing this. And I like working with real human beings and helping people solve their problems. So where are we going from here? Where can you find sources of real estate? I'll always tell you that you should be on the listing side. If you haven't been on the listing side, you need to get on the listing side. And there are people that are more than happy to mentor you to help you do that. The first thing you do, if you're not busy, is you start networking with your friends and family. And the second thing you do is you find a charity or volunteer work to do. Why? You don't make any money. But who runs charities? Who gets involved in big charities? People with money, people with extra time on their hands. I sit on the board of advisors of a affordable housing council called Hannibal Square Land Trust. That's what I do. I did it while the market was good. I've always done volunteer. Those people, all those people that sit on that board, they have all their sphere. And guess what? I get a lot of referral business that I don't have to pay a referral fee for. These are from people who volunteer with me. So I would say get involved in charity, get involved with your church. Know that a lot of realtors use church to do that, But so that shouldn't be your only thing, because probably if you go to church, you probably know 10 other realtors that are going to the same church. But find a volunteer situation that you can get involved with. Network, go to networking meetings, join networking groups. There are groups where you have one insurance company, one mortgage lender. Find that. If you don't know, I'm happy to help people. I'm at the sunset of my career. I've been doing this for 40 years. I'm 65 years old. I'm a grandmother. Woo-woo. Thank you. Thank you. So what I want to tell you is I'm still passionate about this business. And don't worry about your future. Just keep loving people. If you don't love people, if you don't like working with people, then don't be in this business. But
100%.
enjoy people and care about them. People want to know, people don't care how much you know, they want to know how much you care. That's an old cliche, but that works. One other thing, so markets that will still do well. I'm working the senior market. Just because you're in your 30s, you can still work the senior market. You have grandparents, you have aunts and uncles, work the senior market. Why? People die and they can't hold on to their home, or they don't want to. I sold my home after my husband passed away. I didn't want to live in that house anymore. Didn't matter that the market wasn't good. I sold it. This was before. Of course, I personally, my personal real estate, I buy high, sell low. Okay? Just so you know. But life things happen, and I can't help it. My husband passed away, and I wanted to sell my house, so I did. People, parents get older, and the kids start looking for realtors. I need you to help my parents move to an assisted living. I need you to help. Learn how to stage, start taking some classes in seniors. We have the biggest senior population, really ready to retire. They kept saying that the boomers would retire. My sister's 5 years older than me. She's 72. No, excuse me, she's 5 years, 70. She hasn't retired yet. She's still a practicing attorney. So boomers are working longer, but we are downsizing. We are moving to 55 plus communities. And that market is there, and they have a lot of equity in their homes, and some of them are selling their homes and getting a very small mortgage, or they're just paying cash. There's still going to be cash buyers. Find that market. There's lots of seniors, and I do a lot of senior business. Believe me, there's enough for everybody in this room.
Can I get
seniors?
The Villages is almost in Orlando. I mean,
Except we're not allowed to sell new homes in the Villages. I get it, but you know, I'll tell you a secret. There's 2 real estate companies in Orlando that represent the Villages when people want to move to the Villages. Myself, our team, and the Vistardises we scored the Villages, and we get the referrals from them. So we do work. It started about 5 years ago, and that's where I started really get involved in working the senior market.
Well,
Yeah.
no, thank you for that,
Sorry.
Barbara. Thank you so much. I'm going to stay on the senior moment. Will every lender in here raise their hand real quick? And everyone look around for your lenders. There is a product called a reverse mortgage purchase. Many people think of a reverse mortgage as almost like a refinance. No, your seniors can purchase a home, usually putting a large down payment, financing the rest, and never make a mortgage payment. So just know that if you're going to lean into Barbara's advice, also get with your local lending partner and have that person teach you about a reverse purchase.
I'm going to ask the next question real quick.
Yeah.
Since Barbara gave the tip on focusing on the senior market, I'd love to hear from TJ and George. What's one niche or one market that you think agents could focus on, or one tool they could focus on? What's one thing they could be doing, just like focusing on seniors, that you think is going to be hot over the next few years?
I think like George as well, we talk to dozens of agents every week, or every month, I should say. And, I think from an agent standpoint, sometimes you don't know what to do, right? We find a lot of agents work really hard, but they don't know what to do. So they running themselves around. I always say be an expert, and even agents that we talk to, I ask them, what are you an expert in? Are you the go-to person in your own community? Do you market to your own community? So if you do anything, I think focusing your attention and being intentional with what you do each and every day. The short-term rental market, we're experts in that area. I can tell you, there's more listings coming. It's a great opportunity to, dive into it. And when I say $5 billion was sold last year, that's $130 million in commissions paid out last year, 365 days. You know how many experts are in that corridor? Not many. Not many. So find your, to Barbara's point in finding your niche, there's so many of them. Who do you want to be? And then go after it like your life depends on it. I like that one of my agents who's here, go after it like you're the third monkey on the ramp of Noah's Ark.
I can't follow that.
That's great.
That was awesome. I'm plagiarizing the hell out of that. It's showing up in everything I send out from now on. So I use 5 words, 2 areas, and 1 motivation, and I'll share it with you all right now. I believe very, very strongly you should have 2 areas at which you're focused on, and you need to be the flat-out best at those 2 areas and lead generation. For anybody here who's like me, who likes shiny squirrels, shiny objects, quit it. This isn't the time. You're going to have to get really good, really fast, and you're going to burn the boats, which is there's no other option. I'm going to do this, and I can't tell you how important that is right now as this market is evolving and changing. If you're going to get deeper into one particular area, whatever that area may be, if it's, as you said, the senior, which is terrific, you're in the short-term market, that's great. And you could door knock. It doesn't matter. But whatever you're going to do, are you the absolute best? Did you burn the boat? Say, this is going to happen no matter what. Okay, and you're going to work really, really hard to get to that level, but this is the opportunity for massive growth. The 5 words that I always use is time on task over time. There is no shortcut right now. It's going to be effort, it's going to be effort, it's going to be effort. The more you know, and by the way, rip off and duplicate R&D, everything you can. Don't try and recreate the wheel. For anybody that's a high D or a driver personality, stop it. Okay, find somebody that's doing what's doing well, like a coach or somebody that's exempling, follow what they're doing and say, I'm going to do it. But remember, if you have more than 2 things that you're focusing on, you're going to dilute it too much. Okay, and you've got to make that commitment and make it very, very publicly. Ours is database and YouTube. That's it. You're going to see me all over YouTube with my beautiful wife, Jackie, who she's actually, I'm the pretty one, she's the smart one, just so you all know that's how this works. Okay. But those are our commitments, and I'm going to say it publicly. And are we any good at it? No, we suck at it, but we're getting good quick. Okay, with our database, are we as good as we should? No, we aren't, but we're getting good quick because it has to happen. And we need to be honest. And if you saw my headshot, you know that I'm not honest, but I'll fix that.
Yeah, no, so
Yours wasn't that good either, okay?
I didn't say it was.
Yours was perfect. I love but it's still you. Hey, you see what I'm saying? Be honest, though, and
Barbara looked the
know what
best.
you're talking about. No, you got to know this too. This is a great opportunity, especially with database, for all of us to have a conversation with our database. Tell them what's going on. Tell them what the market looks like. But find your areas and go deep into them. Be the absolute best. If you listen to nothing else that I say, that's it. 2 areas maximum. Go deep.
I need to follow up. One, I love R&D, rip off, and duplicate. I've always used swipe and adapt. It's the same exact thing, right? It's plagiarizing. It's copying what is working, the pattern, and then putting your own feel and your own spin into it. What do you mean by burn the boat? You said like 3 times, burn the boat, burn the boat. I like boats.
There's an analysis that was put out. It was done by, I forgot the gentleman's name, but it was Conquistador, and he was taking over Veracruz, actually. And he came in with a small army of about 500, and there's 3,000 other people. So he instructed his captains to take the 3 boats he was on, 3 or 4 boats, and in fact, they sunk them, but they said burn the boats. And said take the boats out now and get rid of them. So they got rid of the boats, burned the boats, and everybody's like, what are we gonna do? We got 2 choices, win or die. Okay? No defeat. There's no other option. That's what it is. Has anybody here seen Live or Die or Ride or Die? It's kind of that. Mine says I have a button that says that until 9 o'clock or so, and then I'm out. But it's the same thing. You're going to have to make that commitment, and I challenge you to make it as publicly as you can. So this is what I'm going to be the best at, and be the best. Even if you're the 2nd or 3rd best in the entire area, you're going to succeed. And most of us won't put forth the effort, and that's the sad part. That's what's needed, for sure.
It's like, to that point, the burn the boats, we use that as well because it's so powerful, right? You've got to be committed. And if you have a plan B, you never get to plan A. So.
Love it. Hey, real quick, we have fixed the link. Can you guys pull your phones out really quickly before we go on to the next question? Pull your phones out, pull your phones out, pull your phones out. And go to MasterclassCFL.com because the first 75 tickets to hear Michael Mayer speak are free. And then we're charging everybody.
Jackie.
Well, grab
Jackie
your phone,
Sosa.
grab your spots.
Give me 2.
MasterclassCFL.com. Grab them now. There should be no free ones by the time we get to lunch. Which, by the way, if you want some amazing food, you're going to want to stick around and join us and in the Eden Bar after. Perfect timing. That slide just switched. They've got amazing food and awesome ambiance. Dustin, I'm going to let you ask the next question. I just want to make sure they knew that the link was working now.
No, and I'm going to throw this out there. You do not want to miss Mike Mayer. Like, you just don't. Barbara was talking earlier about referrals and about networking. He is the king of network stacking, and he is the king of it being true. So yes, hop on your phones, make sure you get one of those 75 free tickets. Tell a friend you don't want to miss it. Let's pack the room. All right, I want to get into schedules, right? Because I'm hearing you. We're not going to burn the boats. We're going to effort. but I may need some help in terms of like, what does that look like Monday through Sunday? What is the ideal work schedule? So that when I leave here today, I can implement one or two of these ideas. And I don't know if one of you wants to take it and run with it and the others follow, but that was my next question that I had written down was, let's talk about the ideal work week or the ideal schedule.
I'll jump off because I'm going to go kind of quick on this one. The ideal work schedule right now is that it really depends very much on what you're going to be working on. What is your 2 areas of lead generation? And then your schedule needs to model that. For everybody that schedules like I do, that means no more doctor appointments at 9 o'clock. You move them past 12:30 or 1. Nobody gets on your schedule and the times you're blocking. Don't cheat yourself. Don't look for the excuse. My schedule starts at 5 in the morning, except for today. Thank you, Jackie. I get to sleep in, but it starts at 5 o'clock in the morning and it goes till 12, and you can't get on my calendar till 12 because I've got from health, exercise, personal stuff, and then the work I need to get done. I can't do it otherwise. Does your schedule reflect what success looks like in your particular 2 areas of focus? And if it does, you're doing great. Your schedule is what your brain.
Give them an idea of how to pick the 2, or can you ramble off a bunch of ways that they could?
Oh God, yeah.
A bunch of like a list of things that they could be picking between.
Prospecting for sale by owners, expires, withdrawals, door knocking, for open houses, database, REOs, TV, postcards, geographical farming. There's just, you can go to, I think it's page 87 in Gary Keller's Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, and it lists everything in there. Whatever feels authentic to you that you want to do, commit to it, burn the boats, put them behind you, say, I'm not going to fail, and get the work done, but your schedule has to reflect that. And all of us, myself included, at one time or another, run into the, yeah, I'll schedule 9 o'clock so I don't have to make a phone call. That doesn't work anymore, not now. It worked before. We were order takers before. We're now workers now. We've got a lot of work to do. That's it.
Barbara, do you have anything to add to that as it pertains to the ideal work schedule, whether it's the one that you follow or the one that you coach?
I work all morning. I'm a morning person. I'm up early. I have my breakfast 3 days a week. I go to the gym, and I have my slave master hitting me. But other than that, on those days, I start my business day at 10, but every other time, I start at 9. I have my breakfast. I watch the morning news. I read the newspaper, the articles I want to read, and I get to work. My work is a little bit different than his. I have, 3,000 people on Facebook. I go visit a lot of the profiles on Facebook every single day. I had a CORE coach. I don't know if any of you know Rita Casey from CORE.
Yes.
But I went to CORE as a business owner, not as a realtor. I went through their program, but we had a lot of that work. And every time they always talked about getting deep with your database. Deep, deep, deep. So those of you that want to talk to people you know instead of talking to strangers, then you go through your Facebook or you go through your social media and you actually get on the phone and call these people. And thank you. So what you do, Rita taught me Ford. Remember, like the car, Ford, everybody knows that. So you call them up and you ask them the first thing about their family, F for family. O, ask them how their job is going. How's it going with your career, occupation? R, what are you doing for fun lately? Are you going on any trips? How are, anything like that? And D is, what are your dreams? What is it that you want to attain? A lot of times that'll bring up a real estate discussion, but it doesn't matter. You start with Ford and you get down to the D at the end. People say, introduce me. This is my friend Barbara. She is our family realtor. It's like I become ensconced in their family. I go to funerals, I go to weddings, I go to christenings, any life cycle event that my clients want me to go to, I'm there.
Barbara, I'm going to have to ask you a question. So the schedule you're talking about where you start at 9 or 10, that sounds very random. It's not like it's planned out and you know exactly what you're going to do every day. I mean, you just kind of fake it, right?
No.
Of course not. Y'all getting that? She literally follows her calendar. No. She doesn't have to recreate it. No. And you talk.
I'm on my social media every single morning, and I'll tell you a hint about social media. You go to your favorites. Do you know at the top, if you have Facebook, I'm an old person, so all my clients are on Facebook. Okay, but you go, if you swipe down, it'll give you a choice between favorites, recent, okay? And I first go to my favorites because those are the people that I really want to stay current with. They could be current clients, they could be recent past clients, but I change my favorite list all the time. I want to know what's going on in their family. Their kid just got an A on a test that they were studying. I hit them with yay, yay, yay. You know, it's like they know I'm reading about them, okay? Then I go to the most recent. I see anything that's current. Somebody just died. I want to be right on it. Not because I'm like the mortuary person. It's just that, and it's not because I'm looking for a listing. It's because I care and I want them to know that I've noticed them. And so that's really, I'm a Facebook queen. I am.
Yeah.
And I get on the phone and call my people. I don't just talk to them
I'm
through
going to give
Facebook.
you a tip for your social media. I had to throw this one in there. If you don't already have Newsfeed Eradicator, you should download it. It's a Chrome extension. It's called Newsfeed Eradicator. And here's what it will do for you, Barbara. I'm guessing based on how you described it that you're using social media on your computer. Is that right?
No.
Is anybody here? Let me actually ask the room. How many of you guys use social media on your computer at least sometimes? Raise your hands. All right, download Newsfeed Eradicator. It will not work on your phone, so I wish it did. But Newsfeed Eradicator will remove your entire newsfeed on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, wherever you want it. You can set it, you can set timers. But when I go on my computer, there is no newsfeed on Facebook. It's replaced with just a quote. I can go to Barbara's page. What I can't do is aimlessly scroll. This will save you hundreds of hours a year if you're like me, because you can't just get on your computer and scroll aimlessly. You actually have to work on stuff or intentionally go visit John's page or Happy's page or whoever's page you're actually looking to do. So I just figured I'd throw that tip out.
Aaron, that's not good though, because that would be purposeful, and we don't do that as agents.
Yeah.
We do randomly whatever we choose to do.
Well, I love
we-
that you use the word purposeful, because if I summarize everything I heard from Barbara, is that she is intentional with her prospecting activities. Her prospecting activities is 2 hours connecting with her COI on a social media platform, right? But she's intentional about it.
Hey, what's COI?
Circle of influence. Her circle of influence. That's your COI. Friends, family, neighbors, ex-coworkers, past clients, prospective clients, right? Your circle of influence. People who can refer you, people who want your services. George, before I go to TJ, what's the one thing that you are intentional about, that you make a priority, that's going to allow you to achieve your goals in 2023 and 2024 as it pertains to being a successful realtor?
Follow my schedule,
Following a schedule.
period. But now, my schedule's already written. I know what I'm going to do the next couple of weeks. I've already got it written down. And I have something called WOB time where I'm working on my business, and that's where I'm literally saying, what can I do to improve my business? And it doesn't interfere with my other time. The trick that's been very helpful is I've
George,
already,
can you explain that one? Because you just went through that so fast, and
Okay.
I caught it, but I think most people that went over their head, talk about working in the business versus on the business,
Well,
because
if-
that's what you're talking about.
if your schedule's your master, you should have 2 hours or 3 hours of prospecting, something you're doing towards your 2 areas that you're focusing on, or however you're choosing to do this. Barbara's exampled that brilliantly, and that's why she's successful. But I also believe that we need to have some working on our business. I don't have a better word for it. It's called WOB time, working on your business.
Time and WOB time.
Yeah, it's if somebody come up with a better acronym, I'm all for it, because that one sucks. But think about it this way: if you know what you need to do, I'm going to ask you if you know what you need to work on in your business. If you try and figure it out today and say, well, I'll work on this, then your mind gets in a way, and that doesn't work. But you and I could probably talk about your business and say, well, I got to work on my listing presentation, my pre-listing package, and I got to do some role playing in there. We could put that in ahead of time. The trick is scheduling what you're going to work on before that day, and you'll actually get the work done. And it's amazing. 1% per day is 100% improvement over 90 days, and that's how long it takes to get into momentum. And you're going to need momentum right now.
Awesome, thank you.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, what do you got to add to that one?
Well, that was all pretty good, and those are traits that we kind of go with as well. So to George's point, if you're waking up at whatever time, I like to get up early myself, but if you're waking up and saying, what am I going to do today? You're done, right? You need to have a plan. And I think a lot of folks that we talk to, the high achievers that we talk to, they are very purposeful and intentional with their schedule because they value time, right? Time is the most important asset, and we want to be able to plug into our business and then unplug from our business, right? What happens a lot is that we're on this rat wheel of, it's happened to everyone, it's happened to me many times, where you get on this rat wheel of trying to catch the lightning in the bottle, if you will, that you're witnessing or wanting to experience, and you lose track of your schedule. So what we have is we have what's called the perfect day, right? And you map out your perfect day for where we sit in the Disney corridor. A lot of our calls, let me just be clear, clients are not reading emails. So if you're e-blasting people and your return on emails is like, I can watch it just go to zero. We use a lot of text warfare, right? That's what we call it. Texting out pictures and call to actions, right? And some of those call to actions could be simple of like, hey, I was just thinking about you, and here's a picture of Disney at night or something like that. So text warfare is very, very important, I think, but map out your perfect day. And there should be calling in that day more than anything else, as well as working on your skill set. This is one way to work on your skill set. This is only 10 times a year. It's only 10 times a year. You should be at every single one of them. So, find the resources for yourself that are going to make you better at your craft, learning about something new, and increasing your sphere.
I couldn't have teed that up better had I paid you $100. My next question is on skill set, right? Audience full of sales professionals, most of them in real estate. What is one skill set today that if you were launching your career or you're only in your third year of your career, knowing everything that you know based on your experience, what's the one skill set that you would be doubling down in terms of the effort, the energy, in terms of perfecting that skill set?
Well, first and foremost, I can ask you, and if you were honest with me, how many have written goals and dreams? That's pretty impressive. Pull them out. Let's see them, right? So if you have your dreams and goals that are written out, you have a why, because your why has to be bigger than your adversity that you're going to face. And in real estate, there's constant adversity. Lenders, no offense, but lenders, appraisals, inspections, change of hearts, you do all the job and then you get no reward. So if you have your dreams and goals and aspirations of what you want, you have a better chance to achieve them. So the first thing I would always say is start with writing down your goals to yourself, the reasons why you're doing this. Super important to get you through the difficult times.
Skill set, George, we'll go right down the line and end with Barbara. What's the one skill set?
I got two. Follow my schedule and be a better listener. And while that last one is like, ooh, that's kind of interesting. No, I borrowed it. She's going to talk more about that one. But if I follow my schedule, I'm going to be doing the right activities. And Barbara's going to talk all about what you should really be doing when you're doing those right activities, because most of y'all, or if some of y'all don't know me, but I don't listen as well as I should. I'm very sorry, Jackie. I love you. But we're working on it. Imagine if you were a phenomenal listener. When somebody talked, you actually listened and didn't think about what am I going to say, but you thought about what are they saying. You'd be amazed the relationships you're about to create. And Barbara can expand on that all you want.
I mean, I didn't expect you to say that, which was great. It's just, right. But being a very great listener, and I don't know if it's something you can work on. I think I did, is sometime in my career, a client said to me, because I'm kind of known for being brutally honest, and that client said to me, Barb, it's not what you say, it's how you say it that matters. I went, oh. And then a friend once said to me that a Southern woman never hurts anybody's feelings by mistake. And all these things that people have told me, so I decided back in 2002, every year I have the Barbara Improvement Project. And every single year I pick something that is a failing, that I feel like I'm not doing well enough, and improve it. And sometime, I remember it was like 2002, I said, I'm going to become diplomatic. And I started working on it. And a few years later, some realtor from another office called me, because I'm always open to helping everybody. You can always call me and say, how do I get out of this mess that I'm in or something? I love being a problem solver. But this agent called me up and she said, I'm in a real pickle. She goes, you are the most diplomatic person I know. I went, whoa. But it's communication skills. It's really active listening and asking questions. Can I ask by hand, who is in control? The person asking the questions or answering? Right. So you ask questions and ask with a heart. Ask out of a point of caring. When you meet clients, sometimes agents will call me up and go, I don't know what to do with this buyer. And I go, well, ask them like several questions. How long have they lived in Florida? Where did they live before? They go, I don't know. You should know those things. Just get to know your clients, get deep with them, and work on that. Work on communication skills and increase your empathy.
What are some of your favorite questions to ask?
Okay, so if I get a phone call from someone with an out-of-state phone number, I go, hey, are you in state or out of state? I'm out of state. What brings you to Florida? Ask open-ended questions. Ask either or questions, or ask questions that require them to explain. No yes or no questions.
There's a little, I'm sorry, just real quickly. So when somebody gives you an answer, like to your question, I live in New Jersey, but I'm moving down to Florida. If you repeat, moving down to Florida,
Right.
and then shut up, they'll go, yeah, I'm moving down because of this, Y, and the X, Y, Z. It allows the conversation to keep going. Now, you can't do it all the time, of course, but think about that, because you want as much information as they can possibly share with you, because that's the best way we can, and this is important, help them by knowing what really they want. And if we're all focusing on that, we're going to be great at what we do. Sorry about that.
No, you mean help them? See how he finished? But to that point, like, asking questions is selling. So you must ask questions. We find a lot of real estate agents that we interact with, they like to talk, right? And if you're talking, you're not listening. And to be listening, we always teach on asking questions. And so when you're asking questions, then you're listening, and then they leave the conversation and say, wow, that was a great conversation. They really heard everything we wanted in our purchase. So asking questions, knowing what to say. I think there's a book, Exactly What to Say. Great book if you guys are looking to know what to say and how to say it.
I love that, TJ. And I know we're coming towards a close. I'm going to have to hand this back over to Aaron. Give us one book. I have found that most top producers are also avid readers because they've invested in themselves and in their business. What is one book that you have read that you recommend to all agents to read?
How about Napoleon Hill? Anyone? Think and Grow Rich. Let's start with that one.
Okay. George?
Never Split the Difference. Rick Voss. God, get that book. The guy's, this is an FBI negotiator that handles hostages, and he talks about negotiating. Everybody here needs to read that book, and it's a good read.
So I know you've read that book because you literally just taught this group how to mirror, right? That's the mirroring technique that Chris Voss teaches. I'm reading that book for the second time, and for the loan officers in my coaching class, I make them read it every semester. But yeah,
It's a
great book. Great book. Barbara?
I have read just about everything that Tony Robbins has written.
Okay.
So it's, you know what, and I'm 65 and I'm hitting a blank. Can someone name a title, because I can't. But yeah, that's one of his first, right? I tend to read mostly self-help books, and I have severe ADD, and so a lot of the ADD, did you know that?
Yeah, well, I'll claim that as well. My wife will tell you that.
Yeah, I think it's an asset for real estate, but I will say that I've had a lot of help with the ADD as far as reading about it and things to do, because we tend to interrupt people and we tend to go off track really quickly, or we just phase out. So reading those stuff and helping me going through that, I've had a lot of help with my ADD.
Love it. How many of you guys have learned something so far today from the panel? This makes noise. Give them a round of applause. Don't worry, we still have one more question I want to ask each of them, but before we do, a couple quick housekeeping things to point out. Number one, join us after the Eat and Bar for some awesome food. They have the best burgers in town, I promise. Can we give it up to Enzian Theater and all the staff and they're going to renovate this entire room while we are gone next month and the following. We will be back here in June, by the way, but May we will be in Oviedo, and it's right off the highway, so it's super easy to get to. It's only 20-something minutes from downtown, and that, again, is at MasterclassCFL.com. We still have a question for these panelists, so don't leave yet. But can we give it up to Dustin for moderating so far today?
We try.
By the way, this can follow the podcast, Anything you want to say about the podcast so fast?
Well, shameless plug. So don't let the name fool you. It is called the Loan Officer Podcast. Last year we had over 1 million downloads. But know this about the content. It is not for loan officers. This is content that we create for anyone who owns a home, anyone who's looking to buy a home, anyone who sells real estate for a living, or anyone who finances real estate for a living, right? This is stuff they don't teach in high school, but they should. And by the way, those 4 people that I said we make content for, that encapsulates about 88% of the American populace. So my shameless plug, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, the Loan Officer Podcast. It's pretty simple. Would love it if you would check it out and then offer feedback, because you're local. I want your feedback so we can make the content even better.
Let's give it up one more time for all these panelists, and I'm going to ask them one more question, I promise. All right, here's what I want to go down the line and ask. If I'm an agent in this room, and I want to get into action and make sure that things are moving, what is the first thing that you would tell an agent to focus on? Like, when they leave this room, give me the first action step or 2 that someone should take today to put some of the things you're saying in action. I'll start with you, Barbara.
Whether you prefer to look at your computer screen or print out your database. And I kind of like it printed out because when you're talking to people and you're asking them questions, they might say, hey, it's my kid's birthday next week. What date is that? Whatever data you can get from people while you're talking to them, write it down, get deep in your database. You will find that if you call 10 of your past clients or people that you know, for those of you who are new, you're going to have to call people that you knew from college or people that you knew from your fraternity or from your church or from wherever you are. You make 10 phone calls a day. I promise you, you will have business.
George.
I'm going to suggest that if you don't know absolutely what 2 areas you're going to spend the next year focusing on being an expert, don't leave the room. Talk to people in here and ask them where their business comes from and ask them to explain it. If you don't have clarity of what you're going to be working on, you won't get to where you need to be. And now Barbara is obviously heavy into database. If you have a question, she's an expert at this. She can show you how to do it. But if you're focusing on something else, find somebody who is. But more importantly, if you don't know your 2 areas that you're going to spend 90% of your time working on and being very, very good at it, you're going to be average, and average doesn't pay the bills right now. You're going to have to be great. That's my advice. Get to, burn the boats, and get into it. You got work to do. We all do.
TJ.
Don't be the third monkey.
That's fantastic.
So I'm going to say if your dreams only require you, they're too small. You must get people and surround yourself, irregardless of brokerage. You're looking at mentors that are doing what you want to do, other sales agents that are doing what you want to do. You are going to need a support network. And real estate doesn't command that in general. It's congratulations on your real estate license. Go call your sphere of influence. You're going to need people around you. Find those people, seek them out, ask them questions, get on their clock, get on their time, and don't be undeniable.
I have a question. My question is something for y'all to take home with you. Is the schedule you keep acceptable for your children's teachers? Is it acceptable for your children's bus drivers? Is it acceptable for the cop that patrols your neighborhood? Is your standard of yourself the same standard you hold cops, teachers, nurses, firefighters? And if it's not, have a long, hard conversation with the person in the mirror.
It's almost, are you doing just enough?
Right. Love it. Let's give it up for all these panelists. Make some noise. Shout out to some of our sponsors today that weren't able to speak. Branding by Joe, Richmond American Homes, Central Florida Building Inspections, Apex Group at Guaranteed Rate gave $250 to our charity of the month, which is Base Camp Children's Cancer Foundation. Probably give them several $100s as well from your ticket sales. And then let's give it up for Dave Stewart and his team with DStewartProductions, manning all the visuals and all the live streaming, all of that. And that's about it, guys. Let's join us in the Eden Bar Lounge. Join us in May. We're all for April. MasterclassCFL.com. Michael Mayer is coming. America's most referred realtor. I'll see you guys in Oviedo, 2 minutes from my house. I'll be excited about it. Let's get a quick photo. Look at Tam. Thanks, guys.
Hey, switch to which camera, please? You got that? Turn your hair fast and see the hair slap your face.